So I have to apologize for the relative radio silence, but I have been writing a thesis for the past few months, yes, about board games in case you're asking, so I have not had time to make that many videos, but I will return soon. In the meantime though, as I was writing and browsing and doing all the things, I noticed a project on Kickstarter, and, well, the guys from Artipia told me about their project, and I felt the need to just do a little bit of a video, quick one this time, because I need to get back to writing about their game, the real-time alien blasting game, Project Elite. I forgot to say, the Project Elite is on Kickstarter for the last few days, so like 4 or 3, I don't know how many are left, but not very. So if seems like the thing for you, you should probably go check out the doodly-doo. Let's walk and talk. Project Elite, real-time board game played with dice, shooting, tactical movement. So the thing with Project Elite is that I had no idea whatsoever what this game was until I actually saw it in front of me. The thing was that Artipia released a few teaser videos which had nothing on them except the statement that it is the most intense board game to see. It was enticing, but I had no idea what they meant with it. Well, now I know. Let's check it out. So what do you get? You get your board. There are 2 of them. Well, it will be a double-sided one. This is a prototype, of course. A crap load of miniatures. These are actually 3D printed miniatures, so they are not by any means final. These are made with a 3D printer, but man, these miniatures, even when they are made with a 3D printer, are some of the most evocative miniatures I've ever seen. The thing with them is they really have this sense of movement, this sense of things happening, you know? I mean, this one, the biter, looks like it's gonna bite your butt as soon as it comes next to you. You know, there's that sense of it going forward. They are not static at all. But this comes not just from the miniature quality. This comes from the fact that they have been designed really well in terms of the shape. That's what I really like about these miniatures. They are, I mean, these aliens, some of them are really scary. I mean, that guy with the whip, the way the whip is kind of sort of actually moving. I mean, there's a great sense of design here that these miniatures have gone through. And this is not even half of the miniatures that are actually in the game. I just dumped a few here. Apart from that, you're gonna get cards, of course, and a bunch of tokens. The alien cards will show you what there is in the game. I mean, you reveal it, and that's the alien that spawns. I'm not going to take too much time on this, and there's events that happen, but overall the fact remains that it is a real-time tactical board game where these aliens are just spawning and running around on the board, and you're just trying to kill them before you reach your objectives. There are a few different types of objectives which are actually quite similar to each other. They just change a slight amount in their mechanic of how they are done, but that's not the point. The point is the experience. I mean, the objective is cool, but the objective is just a mediator to the experience that this game creates. I think the most important thing here is not how what the reason to win, but the feelings that you feel while playing the game. I think this game has managed to create for me something which is the closest to that feeling of claustrophobia and panic that I've ever had in a board game experience, and that's really important. Essentially, one of the most exciting situations of claustrophobia that I've ever had when playing a board game comes from the game Space Hulk. And this in Space Hulk comes from the mechanic of Overwatch. So what happens is you put your Space Marine in Overwatch, and when the alien is doing his turn, if he is in front of you, for each space, you get to roll the dice and shoot him. So you can't do anything because it's the opponent's turn, I mean the alien's turn, right? But each time they move closer to you, you get a chance at shooting. And this what was created that really beautiful effect of you being there but with a wall behind you with this alien running towards you, and you're just shooting, trying to make it die before it reaches you. And the moment when it dies right in front of you here, that is just beautiful. There are a few differences. In Space Hulk, one player is playing the aliens and the other is playing the Space Marines. So this happens on the opposing player's team. And then this one is a cooperative game. This one, they've swapped it around, and that what makes it even the more exciting, because they've introduced agency to the player who's feeling the claustrophobia, right? Because this guy, even in Space Hulk, the player who's the Space Marines is the guy who's feeling the claustrophobia and urgency, right? But he's not the one playing it when it's happening. In this game, it works a little bit different. Let me show you. So this is a real-time game, right? So think of it as sort of Escape, but with a tactical placement introduced with aliens and with lots of shooting. Now the thing is, it works with the dice in a similar fashion that Escape works, but obviously this is a much more involved game than Escape is. So you will roll the dice and things will happen, right? So as you see here, we've rolled the possibility to move, the possibility to possibly fix something or use, and another one to move. So with each one of these you can move, but you also can just re-roll everything as many times as you like, similar to Escape, and try to get the combinations that you need to actually do the things that you need to do. But the thing is, as you can see, there's this symbol, this alien symbol. Whenever you roll this, right, you will be moving the aliens themselves. One alien will move with each time that this is rolled. So every time you are rolling the dice to try to actually shoot the guy by getting that, you have a chance of rolling the aliens moving at you. So by each take that you try to actually get the shots done, an alien could or could not move. In this case, the aliens are going to move 2 spots, or either one alien 2 spots, or 2 aliens 1 spot, or however you want to do it. And there will be a variety of different aliens on the board, and you will see which ones you want to move according to how that's strategically feasible to you. So there is some sort of thing, but that disappears because of the urgency of the game. You have 2 minutes, you work in 2 minutes slots, and then new stuff will show up, so that you only have 2 minutes to try to cut them down, otherwise new stuff will come up and those guys will move. So you need to act fast, and because you're acting fast, you cannot well, you need to really think fast if you're thinking of strategically moving the aliens that are best for you. So although you know deep down that it's better for you to move this alien that's in the back instead of this alien that's coming right in front of you, alright? Most of the time, because you're rolling and you're not really thinking and you're going, everything is panicky, you tend to make the wrong move. You know, and then you just move on because there's no time to take it back. Even you don't want to take it back. You just go on. You need to play the role. You really need to play the role in this game. So let's say you need to roll this symbol to actually shoot him. So right now with this roll, I'm just gonna roll there. So as you can see, I didn't shoot anything, but no one moved. So I'm just gonna roll everything again. Oh, okay. So I didn't actually manage to shoot, but I will get to move, and an alien will get to move. So I might want to move back 1, because this alien is gonna move 1 forward. So I'm running backwards while this guy is running towards me. Now what happened is, oh, the alien moved. So that needs to happen before anything happens. But there's a tree here, so he's gonna move that way, right? Yep, he's gonna move that way because there's a tree. There are arrows on the table which tell you where you want to go, and you get to move as well. So this is still in range, so I'm not gonna move so that I stay in range, because I'm gonna shoot twice because I have 2 guns. If my gun only requires, like this one for example, only requires 1 to shoot, this time I get to shoot twice because I applied both dice. So I hit on a 6+, I roll 4 dice, so I'm gonna quickly grab my green dice and I'm gonna roll them. Oh, I didn't hit. Okay, I get another chance because I have 2 symbols. And, oh, I hit. I gave him 1 damage, right? Actually, if I didn't, let's say I didn't hit. Crap, I have to roll again. So, I didn't hit him. I roll again. I get to move, no shooting, I get to move again. The time is running out, I have 2 minutes. Oh, I get to shoot again. He hasn't moved, great, but every time I roll, there's a chance that he moves. I rolled a 6, great, boom, I shoot, this guy died. Whew, okay, let's move on to the next one. I need to roll, let's see what's gonna happen. Oh crap, these guys are moving and I get to move. So I'm moving forward 1, but this guy is moving. I go again, so every time you make a decision, you need to make it fast, but every time that you're trying to improve your chances of hitting, the aliens also have a chance of moving closer. And so, during your turn, you have that urgency, that feeling that these aliens, which look like they're actually running towards you. I mean, even when you look at it as a scene from a film, this alien looks like he's gonna, you can even feel the gallop of that alien as he runs, right? And you're just here, trying to not get killed, and the feeling that every time you're trying to shoot, with the time passing, there's a chance that these guys are getting closer. And that just feels intense. And this brings me to another important point about the game. The game has this thing where you're playing for 2 minutes, then you have a chance to regroup and talk about what happened, talk about what's gonna happen next while the aliens make their move, right? So you're gonna have a chance to actually talk with the people and try to plan the next turn. What's cool about it is that when this happens, when you're planning what to do, the story you tell is different than what you do in other games. You don't tell, I'm gonna take this action and then I'm gonna take this action. Instead, you tell a story. You tell him, okay, you go search there while I go blast off these guys over here, so that I give you some time so that you can run all your way back and try to get the objective, right? These are the sort of conversations that you have in the game, which I think is significantly different from a role-playing perspective from other games, right? When you have a more mechanical sort of feel to the game, because it is real time. The way you treat the game automatically falls in that situation where you're role-playing to the full, and what you describe to other players, the plans you make, are actually thematic. So when there's that 2-minute sort of thing, things are happening in real time, and then you regroup and you have that camaraderie feel where you're a group and you're all huddling up together and you say, okay, so next we should do this, oh yeah, and I'll give you some time there, yes, you give me some time there, we have to kill that guy first, right? Okay, yes, understood, okay, I'll run there first and you then go do that. Which happens in other turn-based sort of games like Descent or anything which is dudes like miniatures on a map which are trying to kill monsters from I don't know, cooperative Wrath of Ashardon, Dungeons and Dragons. This stuff happens, but it is much more abstracted in games where you have mechanics to replicate that when you have a real-time sort of situation. It's intense, it's fast, it plays well, it's hard, it's insanely hard, and it varies from game to game. So there are some things. For example, in one game you might have it easy because of the things that showed up and the bosses that showed up. Because there are some bosses which are really cool but are also very hard and throw the game from one side to another. This is not a game that when you win on medium mode, you're gonna sure to be winning on medium mode every time. You're probably gonna lose next time you play. You're gonna lose more than you're gonna win. But the fun in this game comes from the actual gameplay so much. Trying to strive for that objective. Yes, of course you need to strive for the objective, and you do strive for that objective, but there's so much fun to be had just from playing that doesn't bother me at all. And the situations vary a lot, so there's no predicting what's going to happen. The medium setup and the harder setup are obviously going to be spawning a lot more monsters at you, but there is a lot of emergent possibilities from the way it happens, and story creation here that happens through the game system. The game scales up to hard fast, and chance plays a big role on how hard the game will be for you, right? If you're lucky, you can get a relatively easy game which you finish pretty quick. If you're unlucky, which is most of the time, you will be getting monsters spawning at you non-stop, and you're gonna feel that feeling of, oh my god, I'm being overrun. The number of monsters aliens that will show up will start to increase, and there are things like, I have to show you this particular boss monster. So monsters have these numbers on them, which tells you on which one of the 3 spawning points they will appear. You will mark them, they will be randomly set with a token, and in one of the 3. You always have 3, which they look like this, so there's one there, and another one. Oh yeah, it's over there, right? And you place the token randomly onto them to denote which one will be. So it will always be different, but then each one will have where it's going to spawn. So if it has 3 written on it, it will mean that it will spawn on this one because this one has the 3 token on it. But some of them will have this red die instead. So that means they will spawn randomly. What you do is you roll a die which has 1, 2, or 3 written on it, like this, right? And that will show you where they're going to appear according to the die. Now, there is one monster, this boss, right, which does this. As soon as it spawns, this thing goes into the slot there. And now this monster moves just like everyone else. So whenever you're gonna roll this symbol, you can choose to move him. You probably shouldn't, because that 3 is gonna move there. And whenever monsters spawn at that location, they're going to spawn from here now instead of there. So the fact that they can move the spawning location is really cool. And if you underestimate this and it gets close to here, right? And they're going to be spawning from here, and all they need to do is get to here to win. If one monster crosses that line and gets into the safe zone, you're screwed. The game is over immediately, and all of you lose. So if you let this happen, right, when this spawns, this could be a complete disaster. Unless you deal with it early, so this becomes a main priority, almost a bigger priority than actually getting the recovery. So the thing is, this is an extermination tile, so these will appear as objectives, right? In an extermination, the objective is to exterminate this location by going there and rolling dice until you get these, and you place it on top, and you lose that die for that round, and you continue rolling until you fill them all up, and then it blows up, right? And when you blow up, you loot alien tiles, so you need to exterminate those locations. That's the extermination, and it's the easiest one, because the others, you actually need to lose the die and also move them to a safe location over there. So it's like double the game when you have different things. So there are various ways how you can actually set up the game. But when this shows up, then your actual objective for the end of the game becomes less important than actually getting rid of this, because if this goes in there, then you're screwed. And this might not show up in the game. Another person might show up, another boss might show up, which all have different things that change the game drastically. So you have the gray characters, which are regular monsters who are creating the urgency by their numbers, and then you have the bosses, which are changing the mechanics of the game and how everything is working. And I think that is pretty cool, how the combination of them, all the variety of combinations that can appear through these is quite very cool, I find. So another cool thing that they've done is how they've used these dice that you have as a resource at the same time. So each of your characters, so let's say you're playing as Momentum, you have these life points. If you lose 3, you get knocked out, and essentially for the rest of the game, you lose one of these dice. You only start with 4, so as soon as you lose one of those, that's a resource. The thing is, this is an amount of time cut off, because it's one option with every roll. So the penalty that is given to you is actually a penalty in time, and that's quite clever. And the same happens with things. So there are this range booster, right, which you can attach to your weapon, and now you've boosted your range. If you find it, you need to actually attach it to your weapon, and to do that, you need to roll one of these things, and you place that die on top of that, and now for the rest of the round, that die is taken. So you've wasted time to attach your range booster to your firestorm, and that is quite cool. You don't just find it, play it on the table. You are spending real game time in both losing your die and in having to roll it to place it on there to make it attached, to actually spend the time to kneel down, grab your range booster, put it on top of your firestorm, tie it up, you know, and check that it's working. And that is quite cool. So, what do I think? I think Project Elite is a really fantastic real-time experience of a board game. It is not a game by any means that you can plan ahead very far or try to make, you know, with perfect information. Things happen randomly, and they are going to screw all of your plans. So you need to change your plans really fast. All the plans you can make are basically not simple ones, but they're going to be thematic ones of you go there, you go here, you go there, and they are going to fail. They're almost always going to fail on you. You know, it's not something that you can plan ahead a lot and then your plan succeeds. It's a little bit lackluster in what actually happens in the game, right? What actually appears. But I think in this game it fits perfectly well, because that's what it is. This is a game which simulates that skirmish feel, that feeling of catastrophe, that feeling of being overrun by these beings, that claustrophobia that you feel, the time, the pressure, the intensity of the gameplay. I mean, that is replicated very well. If you're looking for obviously a strategic planning game or economic building game, this is not it. Of course it is not it, and you should not look here. But if you're looking for a real-time intense experience to play, which feels like you're there, you know, feels like, I mean, my friend said it's a bit like a video game, you know, but it's not really, you know, it's not really. There's so much more to you actually moving the things yourself and things happening and rolling these dice. I don't think to make it like a video game was ever the scope of Artipia and Konstantinos and everyone else there. I think this is a very unique, very cool game, which for me trumped trumped Space Hulk in that feeling of, oh my god, they're coming. And I really like that. Of course, it's different from Space Hulk, because in Space Hulk you have very tight corridors. It's replicated in a very different way. Here you have open spaces and things. It's very different in terms of what the game actually is, and there's a lot more planning that you have to do, and there's a lot more decisions that you have to make, well, of how you place your figure and stuff like that in that game. This does not really have those decisions, because you don't really have time to say, should I move back one or should I stay where I am? It's more like, oh, okay, whatever, roll again. You know, you're gonna miss lots of good moves, you're gonna miss lots of optimal moves. Optimization is almost impossible here. You need to kind of sort of work with what you got. And it's a game of problem solving, improvisation, and just excitement. It's a good one, you guys. It's a good one. Got to go back to writing now. See ya!